The SCP Foundation contains anomalous objects, but this doesn't mean that all SCPs are aggressive monsters. In fact, the stories of some SCPs can even be called tragic. In this video, we present you part 2 of our saddest SCPs list. Number 5. SCP-1166. Object Class Safe. SCP-1166 is a laboratory rat that appears to be normal. However, blood samples of the animal reveal that it is genetically modified and that it contains a very high percentage of human cells. Also, biopsies reveal the presence of significant amounts of human brain tissue and human nerve cells in the animal's spinal cord. Furthermore, when tested alongside D-class personnel, for example against radiation exposure, heat tolerance, pathogens, and toxins, SCP-1166 reacted almost identically to the humans. And finally, should SCP-1166 expire, its body will spontaneously revive after 30 minutes. As such, its tissue, vital organs, and bodily fluids will regenerate, and 1166 has even been documented regrowing limbs. This animal was recovered from the laboratory of a pharmaceutical corporation, and this company was using it to test an experimental psychotropic agent. Notes confiscated from these trials indicated that corporate management was aware of SCP-1166's abnormalities, and that they had identified it as a highly desirable test subject due to its human-like reactions and immortal body. However, no information regarding 1166's origin was found, and the company possessed no other anomalous items. Once in containment, SCP-1166 was tested extensively, but the agents quickly realized that this rat was very intelligent, and shockingly, when provided with a touchpad and a text generator, 1166 began to communicate. The rat began with its name, stating that it's called Specimen or 82611, and said that it knows this because when things begin to hurt, the researchers state this exact name. And when asked about its properties, SCP-1166 asked for the Foundation not to hurt it. The scientist then inquired about its immortality, and 1166 responded, stating that it remembers many painful events. And finally, when asked about its origin, 1166 could not reveal anything. And having learned that this rat is sapient, the researcher realized what it had been through, given that it's immortal. But despite of this, the Foundation wanted to conduct several cruel tests. As such, he filed a complaint to the Ethics Committee, stating that this is simply immoral. But despite of this, the committee approved further testing, stating that its properties must be understood. As such, this lab rat, which possesses a human consciousness and displays emotions such as sadness, anxiety, and fear, continues to be tormented. As such, the story of SCP-1166 is definitely very tragic. Number 4. SCP-1342. Object Class Euclid. SCP-1342-1 is a replica of the Voyager 1 space probe, which has been fabricated with stunning precision. It was discovered in 1982 when it entered Earth's atmosphere and landed in the Pacific Ocean. And amazingly, 1342 remained intact during re-entry. As we said, the probe appeared very similar to the original, but with one major exception. SCP-1342-2 is a gold-plated phonograph record, which appears similar to the golden records carried on the Voyager missions. However, this record contains different information. Various audio recordings are present, mostly consisting of weird music. It also contains images, and most of them describe a set of aliens. Fully grown, these organisms are 2 meters tall. They have 3 legs and 3 arms, each having 3 fingers. And some of these images showcase these organisms' development. Identified scenes include agriculture, manufacturing, space colonization, asteroid mining, and musical concerts. However, other images seem to indicate that that their planet is undergoing a massive ecological collapse, and in most of these images, these alien structures seem to be an erect or neglected state. But most importantly, this plaque contains an audio log in English.
We are a community of 300,000 beings inhabiting Gliese 445c. This is our message to your world. Ever since we discovered radio, we have lived in your shadow. Decades were spent unraveling your signals, searching for answers among the tenuous strands of reason. Through the static and the chaos, we found you. We communicated with your world governments, who kept our existence secret from you. We learned from you. The scientific revolution following our meeting was miraculous. We lived beyond our natural years, and we lived well. Humans uplifted us into an Elysian state, but we could never thank you. We shared our technology with your leaders in secret, to try and repay you for all that you will do. In time came the gates. At a great expanse of energy, we could obtain limitless velocity. With time dilation preserved, we could fly to the universe's birth and its death. The entirety of creation was within our mutual grasp. However, that would not be. Before we emerged, the people who live on your planet crippled us. From the sky above, in bright blue flashes, our lives were ended. We do not know their reasons, nor do we know why their hand was stayed enough to forestall our extinction. But now, we live on a dying world. Our children are sick, our water is polluted. We cannot maintain our technology. To save ourselves, we could have tried to destroy you. With what little power we had left, relativistic destruction could reduce your planet to ashes as it was forming. It is shaming, but we came so close. We hope you can understand why we thought what we did. But maybe, if we could change what happens, if we could destroy you, then you could save us. From the stars came Voyager, your gift. In sending your message, filled with your music and your joy, you showed such touching desperation to find another. We fell in love all over again. We had but one chance to put things right. I do not know if you can save us. I do not know if you can change who you one day may be. You say you are trying to survive through your time, so you may live into mine. I really hope that you do. But above all else, there is one thing you need to know. From one maker of music to another, across all worlds, all times, no matter what you do or what you become, you are nothing less than beautiful.
Number 3. SCP-348. Object Class Safe. SCP-348 is a white ceramic bowl patterned with light blue flowers, measuring approximately 20 centimeters in diameter. While no manufacturing marks are present, the Chinese characters for "thinking of you" are etched into the side of the bowl. But the thing that makes SCP-348 anomalous is the fact that when in the presence of an individual affected with a minor disease, SCP-348 will begin to fill with soup. While the ingredients present within the soup will vary, most subjects between the ages of 4 and 18 have consistently stated that they enjoyed the meal, often stating that it reminds them of their parents' cooking. Also, all children who eat from this bowl more than once will express a feeling of contentment, stating that even though they are eating by themselves, they do not feel lonely. SCP-348 was recovered shortly after rumors of a child possessing remarkable recovery abilities came to the Foundation's attention. The investigation revealed that the child in question originally discovered the bowl in the attic of their parents' house and began to rely on it after receiving insufficient attention from their parents. Once in containment, SCP-348 was tested extensively, but during testing, it became apparent that occasionally, after the soup is consumed, a message will appear on the inside of the bowl. However, it also became apparent that these weren't random messages and that they had a specific author. For example, when a child with divorced parents was tested, the message "I'm sorry, son" appeared. And when an older subject who's happily married ate the soup, the message "I'm proud of you" became visible. Furthermore, one test subject had previously refused his father's offer for career training, and the message was simple: "Why?" And finally, when a child whose father was deceased ate the soup, the message "I love you" appeared on the bottom. So as we see, these aren't random messages, and they are probably written by the subject's father. And even though SCP-348 is very wholesome, it is also very emotional, and it often reveals sad stories. Number 2. SCP-2118 Object Class Safe. SCP-2118 is a female child with orange hair and light gray eyes. It has a scar on its right cheek, which the girl claims it received when it was struck by a stranger on the street. 2118 communicates primarily through sign language and occasionally through writing, even though it is capable of speech. However, this isn't without reason, because when 2118 is exposed to a parent who has, at some point in their life, dealt with the loss of their child, the girl's properties will become active. As such, 2118 will begin to speak in a voice inconsistent with its own, instead reflecting the age and gender of the aforementioned child at the time of the accident. But this isn't done willingly, because 2118 will use apologetic signs while it is speaking. And as you can probably guess, the words and sounds mimicked by the girl appear consistent with the final words or sounds of the lost child. And to top things off, 2118 can also mimic the sounds of drowning and even asphyxiation. Also, testing has revealed that the girl only activates if the aforementioned child is under 18. Of course, once in containment, the girl was interviewed, and when she was asked about her properties, she said that when she talks, she sounds like people's babies, which makes them angry and sad. But she also apologized and said that she doesn't mean it. The girl even stated that on one occasion she glued her mouth together but had to go to the hospital because she couldn't reopen it. And after the interview, several tests were conducted. In one of them, a D-Class was introduced to the chamber, but for security purposes, he was left restrained. SCP-2118 apologized for what she's about to do, and right after, she began to scream in a high-pitched voice. Shortly afterwards, her voice cut off and was replaced by gurgling. The D-Class then began to fight against his restraints and started to scream at the girl. As such, he was removed from the cell. So, as we see, the girl's properties bring back the worst of memories. Not to mention that the girl herself was probably heavily abused as a result. As such, the story of 2118 is definitely very sad. Number 1. SCP-2410 Object Class Keter. SCP-2410 refers to a widespread phenomenon which manifests in teddy bears. When a bear is infected with 2410, its materials will instantaneously be replaced with anatomically correct internals for a living bear of that size. This includes muscle tissue, bones, a complete set of internal organs, a circulatory system, and bodily fluids. Also, although minor differences in weight can be observed, these changes are very small and often go unnoticed until an affected bear has been damaged. And as you can imagine, when an SCP-2410 instance is ripped, torn, or injured, it will begin to bleed, its bones will break, and its body will begin to decay. 2410 was discovered when Nicholas Hort, a 6-year-old boy from South Dakota, called 911. The boy sounded very distressed and stated right away that Jiffy is injured. Of course, the dispatcher asked about Jiffy, and when he realized that it's a toy, he thought that the child was mistaken. However, the boy insisted, so an officer was dispatched, and of course, an instance of 2410 was discovered, and the Foundation was alerted. And as you can probably guess, the main problem with SCP-2410 isn't the bears themselves, but rather their owners. This is because as of 2018, there have been nearly 80,000 confirmed cases, the vast majority of which have been discovered by children. As a result, nearly 75% of these children developed anxiety, depression, and PTSD, despite the use of amnestics. And the worst thing is, SCP-2410 manifests at random, and so far, no pattern has been observed. Of course, the Ethics Committee issued a statement claiming that all children affected by 2410 must be evaluated at the nearest site and enrolled in psychological counseling. But despite of this, the O5 Council rejected the proposal, stating that reducing human suffering isn't its main priority. The O5 continued, stating that the sudden enrollment of thousands of children into counseling systems across the world would be too suspicious. As such, SCP-2410 remains at large, and each year, thousands of children witness their teddy bears dismembered in front of them. And this is very sad, if you ask me. If you enjoyed this video, then go watch our top 5 animal SCPs video, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos.